Hi everybody, I'm Jodi Reinert. This is my Stamp with Jodi YouTube channel, and you found the Great North American Stampin' Show. We are on season 6, episode 10 already, and we're having a lot of fun being inspired by layouts in the Stampin' Up mini catalog. So I've been doing Christmas for quite a while, and I needed to just take a break from Christmas. So I've got a fun, more all-occasion card for you with Lemon Lolly. So breaking away from Christmas designs and Christmas colors and just sharing a card with a fun little surprise on the inside. So sit back, relax, and enjoy an hour of creative inspiration. So for today's episode, we're once again in the Stampin' Up September to December mini catalog. This time our inspiration is coming from pages 24 and 25. So mine kind of combines a little bit of this look with the idea of adding some color to an embossed layer. So I kind of just was inspired by both of those ideas to come up with the new card that I have for you. So I am using a brand new bundle, Pop-Up Petals. This is showing our new design for the storage as well. So these are new flat plastic like sleeves for our stamp sets, and then the dies are packaged in the same sleeve. So when you store these, you'll be able to just keep them all together, the dies and the stamp set right together in the same container. It's about 5 3/4 of an inch by 9 inches. So they're pretty big, and it's kind of nice just to have a really, I guess condensed form of storage for these, because it's going to take up less space on my shelf, and I'm excited about that. So I am not doing a Christmas card. Like I said, I am doing a thank you card and using some of the images and dies from this bundle. So I'm also trying something that I've never ever done before, so hopefully it goes as planned. Okay. This is Lemon Lolly. This is the card base. And let me grab my bone folder. All of the measurements are right in the description of my video, so you can check them out there. And then I'm going to grab this little image from that Pop-Up Petals and Lemon Lolly ink. So I'm doing some tone-on-tone stamping, and I'm just going to ink this up and stamp randomly on the background. I'm just kind of twisting as I go so that the placement looks a little more natural, not all uniform. And some of the circles are going right off of the edge, and some are going to be hidden by a later layer in the middle. All right, that's probably good. I'm gonna add just a little bit more here, and maybe in the corner. Okay, I need to stop. There. So that is our random background there. Then I'm going to leave my Lemon Lolly out, but I'm going to pull in this smaller layer of Lemon Lolly and pull in the greeting I want to use with Memento Black ink. This says, "Thanks for being there." And I'm going to stamp this right along the bottom edge, just in the center. So thanks for being there. And then I am going to use a brand new embossing folder. This one is called Beautiful Pattern. And I'm going to set the layer in here. And you can see there's the line there, so that if I wanted the whole thing embossed, I can use that edge to line it up to make sure it's straight. But I want the actual embossing goes all the way down to there. And I want that to stop just above my words. So I think that's good. So can you see that? The embossing stops right here, just above my words. So I'm going to run this through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine to get that embossing on the Lemon Lolly layer. Okay, so now, I'll set that up there. Now we've got that line where the embossed pattern ends right above the words. And now what I want to do is pull in a blending brush, and I'm going to add some ink to the embossed layer. So it's again just Lemon Lolly. So we're doing a lot of tone on tone here. And I'm going to just go over And what it does is just kind of makes the pattern pop a little bit more. So I've done about half of it. Do you see the difference? Do you see how the pattern just pops on the top compared to the bottom? That's what adding a little bit of ink can do. So I'll just go ahead and swirl that ink onto the embossed layer. I'm going to pull in just a piece of scrap paper quick, and I'm going to actually just lay it right across there, because then I don't have to be quite as careful. I definitely want the ink to go up to that line, but I don't want it to go over. So the scrap paper just kind of helps me do that faster. Okay, so there's our embossed and inked layer. I think I can put Lemon Lolly away. I think we're done with that now. And then I want to start putting some pieces together. So this bundle, like I said, is new. The embossing folder is new. We also have Vellum cardstock. We have had this in the past, but it has been a while. But I'm super excited to have it back. I like using Vellum just to add a little layer to soften things, just like I'm doing right now. So I attached my Lemon Lolly layer to the Vellum, and now I want to attach the Vellum to the card. So I'm applying my adhesive on the back, being sure to not go beyond the Lemon Lolly because I don't want the adhesive to show through on the back there. And I'm going to center it over here, kind of an equal distance on all three of these sides. So I'll just set it down there. Sometimes I like to just turn it upside down and press just to make sure it's all secure. Okay? Now, the next thing I need to do is grab some thick basic white cardstock, the Memento ink again, and this flower from the Pop-Up Petals. Ink that up. And then I'm going to do some coloring with our Stampin' Blends. I've chosen, what did I pick? Granny Apple Green and Melon Mambo. So I'm going to start with the light color with both of them. I'll start with the Granny Apple Green and just go over the leaves. And then I always like to go back with the darker color and just kind of follow some of the lines that are in the design of the image, just to give it a little bit of a depth and texture by adding some different shades. I'm also going to just follow the stem and make that the darker shade of Granny Apple as well. When you use your blends, did you hear when I put that lid back on? It snaps. We want to make sure to do that because otherwise they can dry out really easily. They're alcohol markers, which is great for blending color like I'm doing, but it does dry out if that lid is not secure. So when you put your lid on, hear that little snap and you'll be good. All right, then I'm going back in with the darker color. Again, just going over some of those lines. And then sometimes I like to even go back over it one more time with the lighter color just to blend it even more. Okay, now one of the many dies that come in this bundle cuts out this flower. So I'm going to go ahead and do that on my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Okay. So I'll get rid of that, pop this out. Now what I want is for this to be the focal point. And so what I'm gonna do is pop this up with some Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to put one right there in the center. And then I'm going to use some of the pieces along the edge and put that across the leaves down here at the bottom. And that will just raise up that whole flower. Raising it just kind of draws your attention to it even more and makes it pop off of the card just a little bit more. Then I have some flat pearls, our in color flat pearls. So this is actually Darling Duckling, but I think it looks great with the Lemon Lolly. So I'm just going to go ahead and add those right there. So just looking at this, it's a pretty quick and creative card, right? But the fun is going to come in the center of the card. So I followed the inspiration from the mini catalog, doing some embossing and adding color to the embossing. We've got the little trick with stopping the embossing here for the greeting, and then we colored with Stampin' Blends and made the focal point, added the embellishments, and of course the little dots on the background. So it's a fun card just like this. But what's going to make it over the top is what I'm going to do inside. So part of this set of dies includes these little pieces that you can use to make a pop-up card. So remember, it's Pop-Up Petals. It's because you can make a pop-up card with these dies. So I took another piece, so I'll just kind of set it here so you can see. It's just a little bit smaller than my card base. Again, all the measurements are in the description. And I'm going to set this piece right on the crease, so it looks like this on the back. I'm going to use those little points right here and line that up on my crease and go ahead and run it through my machine. Okay, so what's cool about this is it's very subtle. Like all it did was cut these two lines and score right here. But it makes it so easy to do a pop-up card now. I'm going to pull in my bone folder one more time just to get that creased well. It's so nice not to have to use a trimmer and measure that out and make sure I'm cutting exactly, you know, where it needs to go. It's just this simple little die with those little points to line it up. So very, very cool, very easy, user-friendly. Okay, now the fun part. I think I'm gonna go ahead and attach this layer. So again, it's just gonna go right inside here. So I'm going to use my adhesive and run it along here and put some down here. And then I'm kind of putting a lot just to make sure it's secure as it gets opened. So now I'm just lining up the creases on each and then just setting it down onto the card front. Oh, I lost my flower. You know what? I think that my dimensional isn't sticking great because I put so much ink on here. I think maybe it's not quite dry yet. So lesson learned, let it dry a little bit before you try to get your dimensionals to stick. I know it'll work eventually because I did a sample and it worked. So anyhow, you open it up and you've got that little pop. So let's go ahead and attach this side as well and get everything secure. And then we'll do the fun pop-up element on the inside. Okay, so I've got my little pop-up part that was so easy to make with that die. And now I'm going to add, here it is. So this is another one of the images, this little pot. You can use this one or this one. And I need to grab some more basic white. And I grabbed my pecan pie ink. And I'll go ahead and stamp this. And there's a die cut for that. So I'll cut that out with my machine. Okay, so I went ahead and stamped and colored 2 more flowers, just like the one I used on the front. And I'm going to attach them in my vase back here. Now, you can see that these leaves kind of look awkward in this pot. If I use this one, they might, you know, fit in a little bit better. But what I'm going to do just to change this a little bit is I'm just going to go ahead and use my scissors and cut off the bottom 2 leaves. Okay, now I can attach this without those leaves hanging out. So I'm just going to put some adhesive right on the back that I can set my flower into. So I want this one to come over probably about there. I don't want, actually, let me see. where I'm lining this up on my grid paper, I don't want the edge of the flower to go further than the edge of my pot because it needs to be able to fold properly in the card. So that should be good right there. And then I've got my second flower, and I think I'm gonna do the same thing, just chop those leaves off. It's kind of a fun little trick because you would never know that the leaves were there, right? And then this one, I'm gonna set down just a little bit. So let me add some more adhesive on the back just to make sure it's gonna stick. And I think I'll just set it down like that. Okay, let's see if that's secure. And now we're gonna add this to the card. So I'm going to put my adhesive over on this side, and then I want to attach right here on the card. I've never done this before. I've never ever made a pop-up card like this, but I think it's going to work. So we open it and that pops up. Isn't that a fun surprise? This is adorable just as is, but then when you add that little pop on the inside, it just really makes it special. Okay, another thing I really like about this stamp set is that there's greetings for the inside of your card. So I'm going to add, "You make my life better just by being in it." I hope you have someone that you could send this card to. You make my life better just by being in it. All right, let me close that ink pad so I don't make a mess. What do you think? I really like the tone on tone, that pop of the flower on the front, of course, the vellum detail and the embossed layer, but then that pop on the inside. It's such a fun little surprise on the inside of the card. So check out these new Stampin' Up! Products, the Pop-Up Petals bundle, where'd it go? The beautiful pattern embossing folder, and of course that new vellum is super fun to play with. So I hope this earns your thumbs up vote this week. Go ahead and watch all 3 videos. The links are right here in my description, and then give a thumbs up vote to the one that you enjoyed the most. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.